Vermont. Key facts. Abbreviation VT. Nickname: the Green Mountain State. Capital: Montpelier. Flower: red clover. Tree: sugar maple. Bird: Hermit thrush. Motto: freedom and unity. Well-known residents and natives: Chester Arthur, the 21st President; Calvin Coolidge, the 30th; John Deere; Joseph Smith; Brigham Young; Sinclair Lewis; Pearl Bach; Jamaica Kincaid; John Irving; David Mamet; Rudy Vallée; Elizabeth Perkins; William H. Macy; Felicity Huffman; Emmet Walsh; K.T. Tunstall. Vermont, Vermont, how beautiful you are! Not the absolute last place in which you would imagine Rudyard Kipling writing Gunga Din and the Jungle Book, but surely not the first either. Yet he did, and Mandalay too, where the flying fishes play in Brattleboro, VT, the home of his American wife, Carrie. I reckon that if you ask the average American what they know of Vermont, the first thing they will mention is maple syrup. You will notice that the sugar maple is the state tree of Vermont. It is also more or less the state industry. The maple brings tourists who come to marvel at the blazing colors of the autumn leaves, and it brings cash dollars in the form of the unctuous, faintly metallic syrup that Americans like to pour all over the breakfast, and waffles and pancakes certainly, but on bacon too. Sounds alarming for English ear, but actually it is rather delicious. Like crack, crystal meth, and chocolate hobnobs. One nibble and you are hooked to life. I'm here a little late in the season for catching the legendary beauty of Vermont's fall. The best days for leaf peeping have gone, and the time of maple taping is yet to come. However, I have seen plenty of fiery reds, incandescent yellow, and screaming oranges in other states, so I do not feel deprived. What else does Vermont have to offer? Not a thrusting metropolis, that is for sure. Montpelier is the smallest of all the state capitals, with a population of barely 8,000. The nickname Green Mountain State suggests pastureland, and pasture suggests cows and sheep and goats. And cows and sheep and goats suggest dairy produce, milk, cream, and cheese. There is a bastard concoction that dares to call itself Vermont cheddar, but that we will ignore, presenting it with the coldest of British shoulders. No, I am in search of a product altogether more desirable, a world more indulgent and disgraceful, wholly addictive and dreadfully and proudly American. It is the prospect of this which has been me hurtling northwest with the intense concentration and merciless swiftness of a shark streaking towards blood in the water. Except that sharks don't drool and shout, "Come to mama." It was in 1978 that the two sainted hippies, Ben Cohen and Jeremy Greenfield, opened their first ice cream parlor in Burlington, Vermont's largest town. After many adventures, tribulations, and lawsuits against Haagen-Dazs, they established themselves as just about the best-known brand in ice cream. Their eco-friendly pint pots, tight labels, and jokey punning flavored names, Vermonti Python, Cherry Garcia, Caramel Sutra, etc., have established them as the prototypical anti-sweet corporation and a great influence on other food companies who want to present a healthy, cheery, laid-back image. There is a question as to whether or not the company, which has since been sold to the giant Unilever Corporation, behaved with just as much restrictive meanness when it came to distribution as the original rivals Haagen-Dazs, but they certainly won the branding wars. Everyone loves Ben & Jerry's. They're so like, hey, and they chat to you on the labeling, and they are your friends. The factory in Waterbury, VT, is about 30 miles southeast of Burlington and constitutes Vermont's single biggest tourist attraction. The moment I arrive, I feel like Veruco Salt standing at the gates of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, with golden tickets clutched in fist, and I want it now. I am to be given the freedom of the ingredients cabinet, a chance to mix my own flavor. This is an honor rarely bestowed. It is as if Chateau Margaux asked me to blend their Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot for this year's vintage. Well, alright, it's nothing whatever like that, but it is a great honor nonetheless. Welcome, Stephen. We are very excited that you're here, says Sean the flavorologist, but if you're gonna mix like a pro, you'd better dress like a pro. He hands me a white lab coat while I ponder the task before me. The base, I decide, should be of good vanilla bean ice cream. Nothing more fancy than that. To hand out spatulas, spoons, and little pots and bags of semi-frozen ingredients. Cookie dough, biscuity substances, chocolate in the shape of a cow, and so forth. I try to stay calm. I mustn't be too childish about this, as what little dignity I have left is at stake. The temptation to produce a pink confection filled with marshmallows, strawberries, and cake mix is strong, but I feel the need to fly the flag for British style and discretion. I find an ingredient called English toffee and swirl it into the vanilla base. Good. Not the kind of hard black toffees Kensington nannies gave children in their prams to keep them quiet while they kissed the footman, but a good start. To this promising base I add chocolate fudge, a gloopy substance that freezes when added to the ice cream, like a lava flow meeting water. A granulated texture is added with which I feel well pleased, very fine strong adult, not too sweet, but there is something missing. I rootle and scrabble, searching for the magic extra ingredient that will transform my mixture into a true flavor. My rough prototype into a working masterpiece. The clock is ticking, for a tour party is about to come in at any moment, and I am to feed them and then stand with bowed head to receive their judgment. Just as I am about to give up and offer my acceptable but now to my mind rather lame decoction, my fingers curl around the back of nobbling something. I have found it. It adds crunch, a hint of sophisticated bitterness, and a rich musty, nutty scent around which the other flavors can play their unctuous, toffee-like, chocolatey games. Walnuts. I stir them in with my spatula, and Sean helps me transfer the jet mixture into small tourist-sized tubs. This is done by squeezing a kind of piping bag. Within seconds I have lost all feeling in my hand. It's very cold, I observe. Many are cold, said Sean, but few are frozen. Before I have time to throw something at him, the tour party enters. Welcome everybody, beams Sean. This is a special occasion. You will be trying a new flavor mixed by our guest flavorist. Here. His invention is called... is called Even Stevens. Extemporizes Sean happily. I stand meekly, submissively, hopefully, while the tourists search for word to begin the tasting. Despite my humble demeanor, I really know that I have struck gold. There have not been many moments in my life when I have been quite so sure of success, but here, I am convinced, is a perfect blend of flavors. The tourists agree. Once the filming stops and the camera crew have died into there is nothing left of Even Stevens but my memory of a solid gold vanilla's embased triumph. Stephen, you created an ice cream flavor, and it was good. Now you may rest. Vermont seems even more beautiful on a full stomach, and this is a state I will most certainly return to one day. It is the first landlocked state I have visited, but what it lacks in coastline it makes up for in mountains, valleys, and lakes. I am living by ferry across Lake Champlain, through which runs Vermont's northern border. At the prow of the boat, my taxi points proudly towards the gigantic majesty of our next destination, New York State.